All right, I haven't done one of these in a while. I'm going to talk about Jonathan V. Last's daily newsletter, the Triad, from the Bulwark today, Thursday, August 28th. It's titled "The CDC, the Fed, the FBI, the National Guard." Do you get it now? Trump is waging war against the American government. When he's done, he'll use government to wage war against Americans. He starts out, the Triad's a newsletter that comes in three parts. That's why it's called the Triad. He starts off talking about the school shooting yesterday in Minneapolis and the FBI. And the first section wraps up with RFK Jr. on Fox News this morning suggesting that SSRI medications, antidepressants, cause school shootings. So, yeah. Quoting a section from his newsletter: "All I really want is honesty. Mass shootings are the price we pay for the Second Amendment. It's as simple as 2 plus 2. Why can't gun defenders just say that? We make safety." I think that's the pro-gun culture in this country has decided that their basically unfettered access to guns and ammunition is a higher priority to them than the lives of school children. I, you, After Sandy Hook, after Uvalde, after yesterday, you can't, after Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School mass shooting, you can't make a reasonable argument anymore in the United States that we have not prioritized unfettered access to guns and ammunition over the lives of children. Guns are the number one cause of death for children in the United States of America. That is a fact. That is a fact. Guns are the number one cause of death for children in the United States. And the right is just like, yeah, whatever, that's the price we pay for a Second Amendment. Guns don't kill people, toddlers do when they find guns laying around that adults didn't secure. Whatever, man. We make safety trade-offs all the time in life. Cars create economic mobility by giving people broad access to large pools of jobs in places removed from mass transit. Cars also kill a lot of people a year. Don't you love that? When there's a mass shooting, they like, oh, we're going to outlaw cars now too. Cars kill a lot of people. We do our best to minimize those deaths. You got to get a license. You have to have insurance. They have seat belts, all kinds of safety features. Americans are never going to give up the economic benefits of cars just to save 40,000 lives per year. And JVL goes on to say, "I'm not quite sure what people get out of owning guns, but it must be something incredibly valuable to them. Their insistence on owning guns with very few restrictions means that mass shootings, including in schools and churches, will always be a part of American life. Why won't people just acknowledge that this is a trade-off they are willing to make?" Part two of the newsletter, the CDC. What happened yesterday at the CDC was incredibly important. It was yet another sign that Donald Trump is not governing. He is waging war on the American government itself. Our own Jonathan Cohn has the details. So recently, the Bulwark hired a reporter named Jonathan Cohn who reports on health policy and stuff like the CDC. Excellent, excellent, excellent reporting. I really enjoy reading his stuff. It's incredibly informative. Donald Trump's recently confirmed and handpicked CDC director, Susan Monarez, is in the process of being fired. She was fired and escorted out today for standing up to RFK Jr.'s anti-science crusade. 4 other senior members of the CDC leadership team resigned in the wake of this news. So basically, the CDC has no leadership right now. There's a temporary guy who put in place. I think he's friends with Peter Thiel, so I'm sure that's gonna work out fine. Back to the article. We've seen this story play out across every critical government agency. Trump pushed out the sitting director of the FBI, then purged the Bureau's career leadership. He fired the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and purged the ranks of senior generals. This week, he is attempting to fire one of the Federal Reserve governors. And he is directing state National Guards to create special rapid deployment units that he can use against civil unrest anywhere in the country. This is all the same project, attacking the government and re-engineering it to serve as a weapon against the American people. It is the greatest act of civilizational self-mutilation since the First World War. Boy, howdy. Just look at what RFK Jr., just him, look at what just he has done to federal health agencies across the board. I mean, he's a Secretary of Health. I mean, the funding that he's cut, the billions of funding dollars that he has cut for things that we really need research funding into, but for some reason he just doesn't like. He cut $500,000 from mRNA vaccine research. I mean, he's purged the CDC and the NIH and the Department of Health. It's insane. Sam Stein, also from the Bulwark, has said that RFK Jr., in his view, is the most dangerous member of Donald Trump's cabinet, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. He's basically destroying the federal healthcare apparatus, which, they're lessening food inspections and things like that. They just changed the COVID vaccine availability. You have to be over 65 now to qualify to get a COVID vaccine. And it's being reported that they're going to yank the COVID vaccine out of circulation altogether because RFK Jr. thinks it makes people magnetic or something. COVID is running rampant in the United States right now. Go watch Laughter and Lights videos. Go watch Dr. Rubin's videos. COVID is everywhere right now. And it's like nobody gives a shit. And these guys have dramatically reduced the number of people who are even eligible for the COVID vaccine. As we're heading into the fall, they're going to yank it off the market altogether and just pretend it doesn't exist. While, RFK Jr. is promoting vitamin A for the measles. We just had a measles outbreak in Texas under his watch. I mean, he is destroying the entire federal healthcare and research structure in this country. And that is going to kill people. The decisions that he's making are going to kill people. And they're going to kill children. And we're just hanging out. Anyway, it's the greatest act of civilizational self-mutilation since the First World War. It's all self-inflicted. Because people didn't want to vote for the black lady with the funny laugh. They wanted to vote for the rapist and convicted felon instead. The difference is that World War I was stumbled into by a handful of idiotic monarchs and aristocrats. What we're doing now is a choice made democratically by a free people with eyes wide open. They were not deceived. They had already seen Trump in action, and he was fully transparent about his intentions. He literally said that he would like to be a dictator. He has said that multiple times. He said those words out loud. And the final proof that the American people wanted all of this is that so far they have been basically unperturbed by what they're reaping. He's still polling at like 42%, man. Closing out. Yesterday, the author, JVL, said, "I can't quite see how we climb down from this position. The implosion of the CDC is one more example of how hard it would be, even in the best of circumstances. Trump will find people to do Kennedy's bidding." He's not a doctor, and he's not a scientist. RFK Jr. These people will get career jobs, studies will be conducted. Real scientists will leave the country. The U.S. government will no longer be a reliable vector for information about medical science. Research will move to Europe and China. Innovation will happen elsewhere. And we will all get sick. But don't worry, people will blame it on woke or trans kids or the Democrats' inability to message. There's more to the article. Everybody who follows me knows that I love the Bulwark. Everyone should go subscribe to the Bulwark. Please follow the Bulwark's page on TikTok. I will tag that page below. And subscribe to JVL's newsletter. I get it every day. It's invaluable.